Next up, we have what everyone has been waiting for. Dude, we've been like... It's been too long, dude. Finally, Snake Eye support is here. We've been waiting for it for so long, you guys. You can't imagine how thirsty I am for Snake Eye support finally, dude. Like, it's been too long, honestly. So here we go. More Azamina, feed Snake Eyes, and Goblin Bikers support. Now, Goblin Bikers actually do need and deserve support. We'll see. We have Queen of the Azamina, level 8 Dark Illusion effect monster with 2500 attack, 2000 defense. This card is always treated as a Sinful Spoils card. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. Wait. This card is always treated as a Sinful Spoil card. What does Diabellstar say? Can you set this from the deck? Like, this Diabellstar now special summon? No, it says spell trap card. Okay. Never mind. I thought, is this the first Sinful Spoils monster? That's why I was confused. That's why that's what confused me. It might be the first one, but Diabellstar says spell trap specifically. Okay. If this card is sent to the graveyard or banished from your hand or field by an activated card or effect, you can special summon this card. Okay, so this does not trigger if you discard it for cost, I think. And it also does not trigger if you send it for the other Diabellstar, right? This only triggers if you can fuse with it. That would work. Those kind of things, right? If your opponent destroys it with a card effect or something like that, then it would be able to summon itself back. When your Azamina or White Forest monster destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can target a Sinful Spoil spell trap in your grave, add it to your hand. It's another one of those, like, it's an illusion. I always hate when they do that. It's just a pet peeve of mine when they make illusion monsters that battle normally. This is something that when Illusion came out, I fully expected the entire type to have that sort of trait to it, that they all can't destroy anything by battle and can't be destroyed by battle. The fact that they keep making illusion monsters that now don't have this, it just annoys me. And maybe I'm the only one. It doesn't really matter in the game balancing terms. Like, they can still make fine cards. I don't like it. I don't like that. Just like how psychic monsters should always pay life points. Anyways, moving on. This card does not strike me as too powerful, which is a good thing, I feel like. Because obviously anything that is battle related in a deck that wants to go first, which all of the Diabellstar, Sinful Spoils, whatever decks, they all want to go first, right? So battle related effects are hardly a reason to play a card. And this one, basically this card just, I mean, it's a free fusion material for the Azamina stuff, right? Because it counts as a Sinful Spoils card, so you can send it for your fusion requirements, but that's about it. Right? What is the worm trait? The worm trait is that it's in a Sword Soul deck. Basically. Yeah, this card I don't think is too powerful. This card seems mid at best. Snake Eyes Damned Dragon. All right, if you summon this in a YCS feature match, you know what happens. A Snake Eyes fusion monster. All right. Level 8 Fire Dragon. Snake Eyes monster plus an illusion monster must be fusion summoned or special summoned by sending 2 face-up monster cards from your spell trap zone to the graveyard. You can only use the effect of this card's name once per turn. If this card is special summoned, target a face-up monster on the field, place it face up in its owner's spell and trap zone as a continuous spell. Okay. Now, Crystal Beast support. It is Crystal Beast support. So I'm thinking about this, like, the effect on this card, the effect on this card is not too powerful. The effect on this card is like fine, it's just removal. What I'm worried about a little bit here is that it's another one of those fusion monsters that if you can set it up correctly, just comes out for free. Right? It's not as good as the other ones that you just banish from the graveyard, because let's be honest, setting up your graveyard with a bunch of names for something like the Ritual Beast Contact Fusion, Vicious Astrolaud, or the Phantom of Yubel can even fuse from anywhere, right? Those are much easier to do than this one. Now, still, if you can set up 2 monsters in your spell trap zone, you do get a free level 8 body with 3000 attack, right? Which is something that is definitely possible if you're playing Snake Eyes. This is even possible in other decks. Like you say, Crystal Beast can make use of this. This is even, I'm thinking like maybe even Centurion can make use of this, because this is technically a level 8 extender, which is something that like Centurion can make use of, right? Like if you have a level 4 tuner left and you have a couple of Centurions in your spell trap zone somehow, you can bring this out and you have your level 8 non-tuner. You can make a rank 8 as well at the end of your combo, maybe in Centurion with this. It's an interesting card. I don't think it's too powerful, simply because I feel like even in those decks that can set this up, setting up 2 face-up monsters in the spell trap zone is not as trivial as just getting a bunch of monsters into the graveyard, right? I think that's fine. So I have my doubts that this will be abused by anything, like to summon it like a bunch of times every turn. But I still, just for safety reasons, I would have preferred if we made this once per turn to summon, right? Like I would have preferred if we made this once per turn, just to be safe. Just to be safe that no one completely abuses this. Although I don't think that many decks will be able to do this more than once, maybe twice. Like if I'm thinking Snake Eyes or Centurion or something, like they can maybe do it once if they want to. But even then, you know, not a bad card though. It's one that really makes you think, right? It's one that really makes you think and has potential to it, which I don't know how I feel about that, because it's specifically a Snake Eye card, but it doesn't only support Snake Eyes, right? But not a bad card. All right. We have, what is this? Sanct Azamina. Level 10 Dark Illusion. Level 10 means you still only have to tribute 2 if you summon this with Hollow. It requires, if you summon it normally, it requires a level 6 or higher fusion and a level 6 or higher synchro. Okay, that is difficult to do. You can only use the second effect of this card's name once per turn. Your opponent cannot target this card, cards they control, and cards in their graveyard and banishment with card effects. Also, they take any battle damage you would have taken instead. Okay, that's a weird kind of effect. You cannot target your own. That's potentially really annoying, right? Depending on what kind of deck you're playing. Because you can't use anything that targets to revive from the graveyard or something like that. That can be really annoying to play against. Right? Like, no Bestials. You can still Bestial, but you can't banish your own cards, right? Because this card says you cannot target your graveyard and your banishment, but you can still target my graveyard and my banishment. Can't target your own Vanquish Soul monsters. That's one of the side effects, right? There's definitely things, dude. There's definitely things. Yeah, you can't Fountain. Nah, this card's busted. This card needs to be banned. This card prevents Fountain from drawing 3 cards. Nah, that's wild. That cannot. Nah, that's not fine. If this card was fusion summoned this turn, quick effect, you can special summon a level 9 or lower Azamina monster from your deck or extra deck. All right, so the way I understand this is you just summon this. Like, when you activate a fusion spell, you have to choose between different options of your extra deck, right? You have to be like, okay, which one do I want to summon right now? And this one just says, well, just summon me, and then I'll summon whichever other one you wanted anyways. Like, do you want the Omni Negate? I'll get the Omni Negate. If you want the Searcher, you can get the Searcher. Do the other ones, because this says special summon. Do the other ones trigger on special summon? Hold up. Azamina. Azamina Murcielago does not trigger on special on special. It triggers on fusion summon only. Okay, so you cannot, for example, if you want to summon Azamina Murcielago, you cannot go into it via this one because this one is not on special summon. This card is on fusion summon, and this one does not work then. All right, I guess. This also is fusion summon, so you can't use it as removal. I guess you can just summon this one. I mean, here's the thing. Are you gonna summon this with, like, how are you summoning this is my question. Because no doubt the effects are powerful. Right? The effects are very powerful. Super poly? I mean, it's a super poly target, true. Level 6 or higher fusion, level 6 or higher synchro. But if that's the case, right? If anything, it kind of like hurts those kind of decks more than it helps. Can't you cheat it out with the Sinful Spoils cards? Like, you can... The main thing that I've seen people do to summon out these Azamina fusions is this one, right? Hallowed Azamina is the one from Rage of the Abyss that'll summon out the Azamina fusions, but you need to send Sinful Spoils cards, and the more levels it has, the more Sinful Spoils you need to send. So in order to summon this one, you'd have to send 2 Sinful Spoils cards, which I don't think is that easy. You can send the Witch as fodder for it. What, this one? It's not that you won't send this for this because this card won't be in your deck. I don't know. I think this card is good, but I think it reads better than it is because it is not that easy to summon. Now, knowing the Snake Eye and the Azamina archetype, I will probably stand corrected, and there's going to be some random one-card combo that like completely summons this out like step 2 or something. Forgetting Whitewoods? I'm not forgetting about Whitewoods, but like Whitewoods does not perform fusion summons. Like, I'm aware of all these cards, but like you're suggesting extremely complicated ways to summon this. Like, it's not, even if you're playing White Forest Runic, right? Even if you're playing White Forest Runic, which has very easy access to synchro monsters and level 6 or higher fusion monsters, you still need to like draw a poly and make room in the extra deck. There's a new card. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna read the rest. Calm down. Kick-ass Goblin Bikers. All right. Kick-ass Goblin Bikers. The rank 6 Dark Fiend. 2+ level 6 monsters. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. You can target face-up monsters your opponent controls up to the number of Goblin monsters you control. Detach 1 Xyz material from your monster, and if you do, attach those targets to this card as material. Okay, so at the very minimum, because this card is generic, you will have 1 Goblin, right? Because if you make this, you're going to have itself, and that's going to be 1 Goblin. So at the very minimum, it can attach 1 face-up monster when you summon it. If you are playing a Goblin Biker deck and you have more Goblin Bikers out, you can even attach more monsters. Quite the good removal effect in that sense. During your opponent's turn, quick effect, you can target cards your opponent controls up to the number of Goblin Xyz monsters you control. Detach 3 materials from your monsters, and if you do, send those targets to the graveyard. Okay, that's good removal on the opponent's turn as well, if you're playing a Goblin Biker deck. That seems like a pretty strong Goblin Biker support card. Because it gives you 2 things. It's good going second, and it's good going first. That's good. Right? Because if you're playing into a board like just attaching all your opponent's monsters to it. It has great synergy with cards like Dark Ruler No More as well if you're going second, because if you activate Dark Ruler, you can't kill your opponent anyways, but you negate all their monsters. So what you can simply do is just summon this guy, attach all their monsters as material, and what you end up with is a monster with more than 3 materials anyways, so you can also use it on the opponent's turn too. Like, you're not only clearing their board, you're also setting up a powerful end board piece all in one step. This card is good. Now, rank 6 is not super easy to summon, but like, I think this is a solid card. How do you make it? You overlay 2 or more level 6 monsters. Like, you take one of them, and then the other one, you put like that. And then Azamina Unleashing, normal trap card. This card is always treated as a white forest card. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. Target cards on the field up to the number of fusion and synchro monsters, Fiend, Illusion, and Spellcaster you control and in your graveyard, return them to the hand. If this card is sent to the graveyard to activate a monster effect, you can set this card. Target cards up to the number of fusion and synchro monsters, Fiend, Illusion, and Spellcaster you control and in your graveyard, return them to the hand. Dude, this is like this is a compulse for everything, right? Because it's not even like different types or different fusion monsters or synchros. Like if I'm playing White Forest Runic, for example, and I have like all of the White Forest synchros in rotation after turn 1, I can just bounce 3 cards. Like, even if they're not on the board, like if I just summon and then, yeah, no, that card's good. That's a good card. I mean, it is, at the end of the day, it's a trap card, guys. It's a trap card. So there's a limit to how powerful it can be because it's a trap card and it's not a floodgate. But it's a pretty good one. This is okay, but I wouldn't play it over Scourge or Woes. So what I'll say to that, so I'm looking at this from the perspective of my White Forest Runic deck that I've been playing a lot with, because that's the only White Forest deck I have extensively played, right? But in that deck, I was considering, and I was playing for a while, multiple copies of Woes, because I really liked drawing it, just to have a free send for one of my cards, and then having a disruption on the opponent's turn, right? And like, I think... And like, also it was like, okay, I was only playing 1 Woes, but then if I drew it, I didn't have a target for the, which one searches? Sylvie? I didn't have a target for Sylvie anymore, and that annoyed me, so I played like 2 Woes to cover that, right? Which, from that perspective, I would always rather play 1 Woes and 1 Unleashing, because then if I draw one, I can search the other, and then I can set up both, which ends up making my board a lot more powerful, right? So from that perspective, I like this card. I think it's really good. I think it's a good one. It just depends on how good is the White Forest like deck in general, because this is the only deck that I can see it in. I don't think Azamina wants to play this. I mean, maybe a new Azamina White Forest deck is on the horizon, right? That's something that people are messing around with. It seems like that deck is not better than Snake Eyes or Yubel at the moment. But like, Azamina and White Forest cards are very good and they have potential in the future. So maybe like, as soon as another ban list addresses Snake Eye more, we'll see those kind of decks pop up more. But for now, I would definitely play this card in White Forest Runic, I think. So that's worth something. At least. Alright, so where's the way to summon this card now? Second page. Okay, I didn't see that one earlier. Let me... here. Okay. Sinful Spoils, White Forest, Azamina, and Diabellstar support. Okay, I haven't seen those yet. All right. We have Azamina LZ of the White Forest. Okay, by the way, just before we read those, This is what I was talking about. This is what I wanted. I didn't want more Snake Eyes support. I wanted more White Forest support because that's the cooler Diabellstar lore archetype anyways. I mean that's subjective, but I like it. We have a level 2 light illusion effect monster. You can only use the first, second, and third effect once per turn. You can reveal this card in your hand, special summon a White Forest or a Azamina monster from your hand. Okay, so that includes itself, so you can just summon itself. During your main phase, you can fusion summon an Azamina fusion from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as material. If this card is sent to the graveyard as synchro material, you can add a Sinful Spoils card from your deck to your hand. Okay, so that's a good card. It's Cartesia. It's not quite Cartesia because it's not a quick effective fuse. If this was a quick effective fuse, it'd be broken because then you could dodge all sorts of effect negation. It is a good card though. I like that it has synergy with both fusions and synchros. I feel like we're really pushing. This card really pushes into a Azamina White Forest deck specifically, right? Because the Azaminars are the fusions and the White Forest give you the synchro access, right? And this card wants to work on both, axes. It's a very good card, for sure. All right, good one for the Azamina White Forest deck, which I think is fine to receive good support because it hasn't really seen play yet. It's only Snake Eyes that, Snake Eyes have gotten the most spotlight for sure out of the Diabellstar lore, so I'm happy the other ones get some support. And then we have Sinful Spoils of the White Forest. Okay, now we're connecting Sinful Spoils and White Forest more, so that because this one wants you to play Sinful Spoils cards in that entire thing as well. So here we go. Quick play spell card. You can only use the first and second effect once per turn each. If you control a Fiend, Illusion, or Spellcaster, activate one of these effects. Special summon a Fiend, Illusion, or Spellcaster from your hand, or fusion summon a fusion from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as material. If this card is sent to the graveyard to activate a monster effect, you can set this card. Okay, that is both very powerful and kind of underwhelming. I mean, at the end of the day, it is just a quick play poly, which is solid, I guess. On the other hand, it's also just a quick play poly, right? But it's all right. But it does give you access to Guardian Chimera on the opponent's turn, which is very good. Yeah, that's pretty nice. It's searchable by Diabellstar and White Forest. If you Diabellstar for it, though, you have to set it with it. So you need another way. You're setting a quick play spell with Diabellstar. So that's play the Diabell. All right, quick play. I mean, I feel like you didn't need to make it that obvious. I feel like the entire last year you've been telling us to do that already. It's kind of been the motto of 2024. Play the Diabell, but now we have an official card that says that. Quick play spell. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. If a spell trap card is sent to the graveyard to activate a card or effect, send an illusion or spellcaster from hand, deck, or extra deck to the graveyard. During your main phase, you can banish 3 spells from your graveyard, including this card. Special summon a Diabell monster from your hand or graveyard. If a spell trap is sent to the graveyard to activate a card or effect, send an illusion or spellcaster. Is this good? I don't think it's that good. What do you get from sending an illusion or spellcaster from hand, deck, or extra? I mean, I'm sure there's good targets for that. But it's very... It's very hard to set up. It's like part of 3-card combos or something. It's not terrible, but it's all right. Play the Diabell and like the Diabell. All right. You're gonna play the Diabell and you're gonna like it. Quick play spell card. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. If a spell trap is sent by a card effect, set a spell trap from your hand or graveyard, but it cannot be activated this turn. Okay. That's potentially dangerous. You just like Foolish Burial Goods any floodgate and then reset it. During your main phase, you can banish 3 spell traps from your grave, including discard special Diabell from hand or grave. Okay, the second effect is the same. I think outside of accessing like floodgates or something, this card does not seem good enough to be played. Both of these cards are not searchable as far as I'm aware, unless there is a spell card that or a card that searches Diabell cards. But I don't think that's the thing. All right, well, but if anything, I'm glad they made these cards because the names are hilarious, dude. Play the Diabell and like the Diabell. And then we've got Sinful Spoils Awakening. You can only use one of the first and second effect of this card's name per turn, and only once that turn. If you control a level 5 or higher illusion monster and your opponent controls 3 or more monsters, target up to 3 cards they control, return them to the hand. If you control level 5 or higher illusion monster and this card's in your graveyard, you can set this card but banish it when it leaves the field. Okay, now this card just feels like a worse version of this card. Yeah. I think most decks that would play this card can just play this card instead, and it's probably better. Because you don't have to wait until your opponent has 3 monsters. And it even works if you just have your stuff in the graveyard. Nah, this card's way better, I think. This card's way better. All right. Now, my question still stands. How do I summon this thing super easily? Because I don't see it. I still don't see it. Like, yes, there is an effect that lets you perform fusion summons, but that's about it. Like, I know that you can. I know that you can summon it, but it's not like that crazy, I feel like. Like, it's a good card, but it's not like completely crazy. It's 1 card off wanted. I mean, I know, but like everything is 1 card off wanted. Ah, what is this? These are good cards for the most part. This one is mid. These two, the play the Diabell and like the Diabell, are mid. This trap card is mid. I honestly, the reason why I like this is because it's mostly support, mainly for Snake Eye. No, not Snake Eye. Mainly White Forest, Goblin Bikers, and Azamina, right? Which are 3 archetypes that I've got no beef with. Out of the entire thing, I feel like the only archetype that I have beef with is Snake Eyes. So like, support that mostly makes people play like Azamina, White Forest, or Goblin Bikers is fine in my book for now. And Crystal Beasts, sure. And Crystal Beasts. But these are good cards, definitely. A lot of them. Not all of them, but some of them are very good cards. But did you like and subscribe to Diabell yet? Yeah. Dude, play the Diabell, like the Diabell, subscribe to Diabell, and comment to Diabell.